What two one two one two, and we're live. Welcome everybody for this live stream on the latest news of Web3. I'm Julian, and on Eat the Blogs, I help you to become a Web3 expert. So say hi in the chat where you guys are from. Can you hear me? So before we get started with the news of the day, and we have a lot to cover today. If you are new here and you want to learn how you can get started in Web3 and get your first job in the space, check out my free masterclass. I posted the link in the chat. So we are going to start with the first news today. So about the market, so it's been absolutely amazing. Like, it was the best week we had since a very long time. It was a roller coaster because we had a really bad part, but at the end of the week it went really crazy. So I'm super happy about this. And yeah, we haven't seen Ethereum and Bitcoin at this level for a while, and Bitcoin finally broke the resistance at 25,000. So it's really super bullish. So basically, of course, we have a lot to say about USDC and DAI, who collapse and recover afterwards. And so there is a story to tell, and we are going to start with Silvergate. So Silvergate, which is a crypto bank, decided to voluntarily liquidate its business. And so Silvergate was one of the biggest crypto-friendly bank, and that was used by many companies in the space. And so that's a pretty big deal. But how did we get here? So last year, following the FTX drama, we had $8 billion in customer deposits that left the bank. Okay, and at the beginning of 2023, there started to be some rumors that spread about potential problem with the bank balance sheet. And a few days before the liquidation, Silvergate announced that they would do a release. They would delay the release of their balance sheet, and that really the release of the annual report. And that really scared away everybody, including their customer. And many customers decided to move out of the bank, like Coinbase. And so if you add this plus the increasing hostility of US regulators for crypto, it was just too much for Silvergate. So in the end, they just decided to shut down their business. And so as far as we know, no depositor lost money there, but it was really a big shock for the crypto industry. And unfortunately, it was just the first act of a very special week with a lot of bad news. So after that, we have this massive scandal with SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. So a few days later, we learned that Silicon Valley Bank was declared insolvent and was placed under the protection of the FDIC, which is basically the regulator and guarantor of banks in the US. This is the biggest bank failure since 2008, so it's really a big deal. And SVB is actually a very special bank. It's not your average bank. It's used by a lot of startups in the US. A lot of VCs also in the US have a portfolio companies who use SVB. Generally, if you are in the tech industry and you want to create your company in the States, then this is the recommended bank. So how the hell did it happen? Because that was really a bank with a good reputation. So it all started with an analyst that pointed at a potential risk. That was a few weeks ago. And the problem was that SVB bought some bonds before the interest rates went up. After the interest rate went up, these made the market value of the bond portfolio decrease because the bond prices move in the opposite direction as interest rates. So when the interest rate goes up, the price of a bond goes down. And that means that SVB could be insolvent if too many depositors wanted to withdraw their money now, because now they have to liquidate their bond portfolio, which is under the water. So, but long term, if everybody was patient and just waited until the bond expired, there wouldn't be any problem. So a lot of VCs read the newsletter of the analyst that mentioned this. These VCs started to monitor closely the earnings of SVB. And SVB missed the last earnings target by a wide margin. And so Peter Thiel, which is a heavyweight in the space as well as other heavyweight in the industry, started to sound the alarm and ask the portfolio companies to withdraw their money from SVB Bank. Tech Twitter caught word of this, which ultimately triggered the bank run. And so over the weekend, there was wild speculation of what would happen to this bank. And a very important fact is that only $250,000 are guaranteed by the FDIC, which is the US bank regulator, which means that 97% of deposits are above those limits. So if SVB goes under, it would be really terrible. It would be an extinction level event for startups in the US. And it doesn't stop here. The story continues with USDC, because the problem with SVB had a ripple effect on USDC. So USDC started to depeg this weekend, going down to about 0.87 at the lowest. And USDC is the second largest stable coin with about 40 billion in circulation, the first one being Tether. So it's also used as a reserve coin by other stable coins like DAI, which was also impacted by this. So if USDC goes under, this is going to be terrible for crypto. But why USDC was impacted by SVB? USDC has reserves, including in cash. So in this reserve, $3.3 billion are at SVB Bank. That's the link between these two things. This represents about 8% of the outstanding value of USDC. So at worst, USDC could be worth 92% of its current value. However, what happened is that over the weekend, the US government announced that they will compensate SVB depositors, not shareholder depositor, for any loss incurred. And that was very wise, because otherwise the consequences would be really terrible. So for US startups, of course, but also for USDC and crypto. And it could potentially trigger a bank run in a lot of regional banks in the US who are probably in a similar situation as SVB in terms of their bond portfolio. And it would only leave a few banks intact, like the really big one, JP Morgan, Citi, etc., which would be a huge concentration of wealth over there. So basically all of the banks right now, a majority of banks, if their mark-to-market value actually has problem because of this rise of interest rates, everybody is impacted. And if there was a bank run now in the US, it would be really, really terrible. So that was really a good decision of US authorities. So some people have criticized this bailout. They say, yeah, like we shouldn't give money to all these tech bros that didn't know how to manage their money. But I think what a lot of people don't understand is that this is the bailout of depositors, not shareholders. It's very different. Depositors will be saved, but shareholders will go under. The people who bought stocks of SVB Bank, they're going to lose everything. I think it's fair, really. It's this we are talking of the stability of the financial system here. If you're a bank depositor, you just expect your money to be safe. If you cannot even have this expectation, then I don't see how we can do business. So everybody will suffer if we were to lose trust in the system. So and here there was on the trading side, there was a huge arbitrage that was possible here. So because USDC really is supposed to be the most reliable stablecoin out there, so how can you think that it would not get back to parity? So If you reacted quickly this weekend, you could have made an easy 10% profit. So you buy at 0.9 and you wait until it comes back up at 1, which it did. And I'm in a few chat on Telegram with some degen. There's this guy, put 400k, boom, made a easy 40k over the weekend. So yeah, probably the easiest arbitrage of the year. And so with all of this, you would think that perhaps that was the end of the bad news for last week. And no, this is not over. There is yet something else. I'm talking of Signature Bank. So it's another massive bearish news coming a few days later. So the other big crypto-friendly bank in the US, Signature Bank, was shut down by US authorities this weekend. So the other one, Silvergate, it was them who voluntarily liquidated, but Signature Bank was the US authority who did it themselves. So another huge scare for the entire crypto industry. But the US authorities announced that all depositors will be bailed out, like for SVB. So no money is lost. All the funds are safe. So really, what are the consequences? Basically, what are the consequences? So Silvergate and Signature Banks were the two biggest fiat payment rails in the crypto market. They were banking many crypto customers, and the demise of Silvergate will accelerate the shift towards trading pairs that are denominated in Tether. So Tether probably will be the big winner of this event. And so here I'm quoting an analyst that said something interesting. With the death of Silvergate, stablecoins will likely become even more ubiquitous among traders. Rather than depositing your dollars with an exchange, you deposit them with a stablecoin issuer, you receive stablecoin, and then you transfer those to an exchange. So that means like the fiat on-ramp could be moved from the exchange to the stablecoins, who would themselves be very regulated. And at least if we have some clarity on this, or if we have some clarity where are the interface between fiat and crypto, and can we trust it long term, that's very important. So I hope that we have more clarity on this very soon. So another important question is, what about the banks that are used by crypto companies? Because when you do crypto, you cannot just knock at any door and say, hey, I want to open a bank account and I do crypto. Most of them will refuse you. So and before, the two big banks that were crypto friendly were Silvergate and Signature Bank. So in the US now, we pretty much don't have any crypto friendly banks. However, there are still some alternative, even though they aren't specially focused on crypto. For example, Coinbase will use JP Morgan. Another bank that was mentioned a couple of times was BNY Mellon, that was mentioned by other crypto companies. So for big crypto companies, it will be okay. They will find out the bank that will accept them. However, the problem will be for smaller crypto companies in the US. They will find it harder to get banked in the US. So you would think that with all of this, it was a very, very bad week for crypto. But as you can see, with the recovery of the crypto market, that's not the case. So actually, what happened is with the failure of SVB, it's not clear that what is worse. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a CEO of a startup who got screwed by SVB. How do you trust the banking system right now? Should you do crypto or fiat? So you choose your poison. And when you think about it, actually, I believe a stable coin that has reserves in several banks is actually safer than just putting your money directly at a bank. If you can trust that the reserves are actually at the bank, which is not a problem. But if you can trust this, actually a stable coin dilutes the risk of failure of a bank across several banks. So now if a bank mismanages the funds, then you just lose a part of your money, but the other banks will be fine. So I think actually stablecoins somehow are more safer than banks. So in the end, I think with all of this, it will be a net positive for crypto. I said this is why we see what's happening on the crypto market today, super bullish. We have founders who are non-crypto founders who are losing trust in the established legacy banking system and who will come to crypto. So yeah, a very weird week, but somehow who sends a positive message for crypto, I believe. And yeah, so that was really the big story of the week. So after that, we still have some other news here. So Meta announced that they are working on a decentralized Twitter. So yeah, very interesting. Meta already tried to do some crypto project with their the blockchain that they gave up a few years ago. Now they're trying these other things. Meta was trying a lot of things at the moment as the main product, Facebook, is slowly falling. So then we have some feud coming from the US authorities because Ethereum was declared a security by some court that is suing the Qcoin exchange. So far it's just one guy who said this. The SEC still hasn't commented on that, but that wasn't too good. It's really weird. I don't think that they will go as far as to consider Ethereum a security because that would be a frontal attack that would be very, very difficult to win. Then we have some news from Coinbase. So they just released a new product, Wallet as a Service. So this is a widget basically and a service that can allow you to easily onboard users to Web3. So Coinbase, very active at the moment. They are releasing like crazy. A couple of weeks ago, they released their layer 2 blockchain called Base. So super interesting to see Coinbase moving in this direction. Coinbase has tons of users, so they are in a good spot for doing that kind of thing. Then last week we had a survey that was released by the team of Solidity. Super interesting. You can learn tons of things like where are the Solidity developer, are you currently employed, what industry do you work in, etc. So I actually made a video just on that last week, so you can check it out if you want more comment on this survey. And so we are going to do the Q&A now, but just before, quick reminder, if you are new here and you want to learn how you can get in Web3 and find your first job before the next bull market, so check out my free training. This is here in the chat. It's going to save you a lot of time. So let me see who we have in the chat. So Dunamis, hello. Hoda, how can I be a Web3 developer without certificates? Thanks. Okay, check out my free training, my masterclass. It will explain you the full roadmap. THX, hey. Tsitseiba, hi Julian, nice to see you. Senkadi, hello. Elrai, hello. Julian, when are you making another flash loan vid? It's possible that I update my course on flash loan. I will keep you guys updated. Void 5005. Can you explain how zero knowledge proof work in smart contract and what their application are? Okay, so zero knowledge is basically a system to have privacy in blockchain that can also be used for scaling. So I can probably do another longer video, but that's the quick explanation on that. Alright, how ironic this happened in 1923 and now in 2023. Yes, like yeah, it's like COVID basically. The Spanish flu happened also 100 years ago. So you know, like we repeat all the bad stuff and after we're good for another 100 years. All right, do we have any more question in the chat coming in? No? We are good for today. All right, guys. So, you know what? This is all in all, this is a good week. You know, crypto is bouncing like crazy. So yeah, I'm pretty optimistic for the future. I know it's crazy to say this, but I think you will see that the net benefit of everything that happened last week will be positive for crypto. Space Bun, did you make it to if Denver or plan in the future? No, I didn't go, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe next year. I will be at East Taipei, which will be next, I think in next month. Yeah. And DEF CON. So right now there is a vote to know where is the next DEF CON, and one of the votes is in Taipei. So if DEF CON is here, I'll definitely go. Yeah. Void, is the future of chip blockchain L1 or L2? L2, yeah. All right. Is that it? No more questions in the chat? No? All right. So in this case, we are going to wrap it up here for today. So thanks everybody, and I will see you later on the channel.